What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, aka Darth Apocalypse. All right, so let's get to this. So, a shout out to the brother Vid, I think it is, on X/Twitter for letting me know about this. And of course, it's no surprise, but it just goes to show you still how ridiculously rigged this whole situation is with LeBron James and whatever team he's on. All right. Remember during the grand indecision earlier this summer, we was waiting on this dude to make his announcements to what his next team would be. And then I think it was like during an event in New York, I think it was called Fanatics Fest or Freak Fanatics or whatever it was called. The commissioner was there and he made a statement, an interview that like he would like for LeBron and his team to make their announcement so that as to what team he's going to go to so they can hurry up and make the schedule. And I did a video and other people talked about it too. Like, wait a minute, why do you got to wait for this guy to make his announcement to make the schedule for next season? Oh, I know why. Because you have to make sure that on top of all the deck stacking that he does, on top of him always having to make sure that he has the best players around him, not to mention the fact that I also suspect that he has people in the media to plant little fires for other players who are potential opponents or opposition. Yeah, I'm talking about Kawhi Leonard, because nobody gave a fuck about this whole Aspirian scandal until this offseason when LeBron goes to the East, and then there's a trade for Kawhi to go to the East that's then put on Knicks, and then all of a sudden you see all these people now paying attention to Pablo. Now people giving Pablo platforms to speak and talk about this scandal, when previously the whole year they were ignoring his ass. But whatever, on top of all of that, now it's come out that they've done a whole lot to make it so much easier for the Sixers. Never mind that this is the most offensively talented team this guy's ever been on. We learned that, doesn't this sound familiar? The Sixers have the least amount of back-to-back games this year. They have the fewest amount of 3 games in 4 nights. And they don't play their first game against a Western Conference opponent until their 18th game of the season. So their first 17 games, somehow, some way, are against the Eastern Conference. And even then, when they play a Western Conference foe, guess who it is? Portland. They don't even play one of the marquee Western Conference teams until Denver, which is in January. Oh, when did they play San Antonio, you ask? Not until March. Not until March. So it'll be close to spring when they first play San Antonio. And by the way, in that little period, that little few days stretch where they play San Antonio, the game before and the game after playing San Antonio, guess who they'll be playing? You guessed it, the Utah Jazz. The team, it seems like they play 87 times every fucking year. And yeah, I know that's more than the amount of games played, but that's how many times it seems like they play Utah. Now, here's the one trick they use, and I wouldn't be surprised if ESPN brings this up as a deflecting tactic. Now, even though they don't play a Western Conference opponent the first 17 games of the season, I do have to admit they played New York quite a few times. They played, Boston quite a few times. They play Cleveland. They do play the best teams quite a few times in the first part of the season. So I say that to say this. That could be used by the media. Like, look, Sierra was talking about something. LeBron gets these easy schedules, but look, he's playing New York twice and Cleveland twice, Detroit twice this month. They're not playing cupcakes. See, everybody, these LeBron haters, they don't know what they're talking about. Well, first of all, we all know that the NBA ratings, especially the start of seasons, have been the last few years sort of bad. The ratings can be a little bit low. They've been kind of low. And then, toward the playoffs, they tend to get a little bit better, right? It's quite possible that they are front-loading Philly's schedule with Eastern Conference opponents because they want the initial ratings surge to be kind of high. And then they hope the play-in tournament keep things a little bit higher. And then league interest can kind of peak and stay at a somewhat high rate going into the All-Star break, right? But this is the flip side of that. If they're playing these tough teams in the Eastern Conference the first month, then who are they playing in the second half? Because it seems like for every tough Western Conference team, it's a sorry-ass Eastern Conference team, like the Hornets. Because now the Hornets, of course, they don't have LaMelo Ball. I've seen the Pelicans quite a few times. Now I know the Pelicans the West, excuse me. But I've seen a bunch of sorry-ass teams in March and April. And by the way, you better believe that when LeBron is playing against Milwaukee and Memphis and even Cleveland, because he's already been on record saying it. Don't be surprised if he sits those games. And not only that, how about you want to bet? Because he's been doing this every year lately. He's going to go on his spring vacation. And it usually happens after the All-Star break. It's a period in this schedule, during the season, where he takes some games off. So look for that too. But it's coming though. It's definitely coming. And, by the way, I want to say this before I end this video. To the constant stalkers who say things on my channel like, oh, you still don't have 50,000 subscribers, you're being passed up, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck about any of that shit, man. I'm not in a race on here for anybody, against anybody. I'm not in a race. It's not a contest. Maybe in your mind, because your brain is so niggified that you constantly have to have beef to get by. Like you're constantly entertained by imaginary or real beef. You're so niggified in your thinking that you have to have conflict to get off. It always has to be some sort of conflict for you to have any type of interest, because everybody knows, a lot of you LeBron fans, you guys have absolutely no attention span whatsoever. So, I'm not worried about all that, man. I don't care if I never get 50,000. It's not about subscribers anyway. How many channels will be up here to have 300,000 subscribers, but they still only getting 1,000 views a video? So it is what it is. YouTube like to put brothers in boxes, and unless you are here cooling like a motherfucker, like Officer Tatum, which is what y'all drawn toward, because that's how I know a lot of you dudes are jigs, because y'all do too many, y'all view count too much. Instead of having to come to the logical conclusion that YouTube hates on anybody that's black that speaks the truth, and anybody that's black that goes along with the majority, they tend to get pushed more. Instead of having that and that angle of thought, you tend to think like your masters. But it is what it is. That's why I don't want to be around any weird ass dudes. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that.